This is wilderness country, the American wilderness, a timeless domain, little touched by the hand of man since the dawn of history. Here there are no roads. No logging is permitted in the wilderness. There are no refreshment stands, except perhaps the clear running streams along the trail. Here, truly, nature reigns supreme. There is a sense of spirit, as well as substance in wilderness, a part of America, beloved and preserved, used primarily by people who love the spiritual and physical aspects of the wilderness. This wilderness, the Bridger, managed by the United States Forest Service, lies in the heart of the Rocky Mountains in Wyoming. It's part of the national forests, over 180 million acres, providing timber, water, wildlife, forage, and recreation for the nation. And within the national forests, mostly in the west, are 14 million acres of wilderness, managed and protected by the Forest Service, who pioneered in establishing wilderness areas. Here is our location, the Wind River Range, one of the most rugged sections of the Rocky Mountains. This is the way the country looked a century ago to the famous painter, Alfred Jacob Miller. The country that was the heart of Jim Bridger's empire, one of the greatest mountain men the West ever knew. Like Jim Bridger, hundreds of trappers spent most of the year in these mountains. This country was rich in wildlife, with great herds of antelope. Every summer, the trappers came out of the mountains to hold their famous Green River Rendezvous at Cottonwood Flats. Together with Indians of nearly every tribe in the Rockies, they set up their lodges and bartered beaver pelts, robes, and horses for supplies. Today's explorers of this wilderness country come here from every part of the nation on their summer vacation. Most of them joined organized groups to make the trip. Our party is called Trail Riders of the Wilderness. These people love the quiet ways of nature, and this is their chance to enjoy the unchanging land. Walt Lozier, one of the local outfitters and the guide for this trip, is really the man to tell the story. Walt is a modern counterpart of that rugged Jim Bridger type of Western mountain man, as much at home in the woods as under his own roof. Walt runs a cattle ranch at the edge of the wilderness and outfits trail riders every summer. He and the riders are heading for camp now. Hi, Walt. This country is really home to you, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I've lived here all my life. My folks came here in a covered wagon and homesteaded. The house they built is where my family and I live now. My wife, Nancy, always rides with me. She came from New England on a vacation in 1940, just like our trail riders do today. Now look at her, a Westerner all the way. She loves this country. You can't help but admire the modern trail rider. He comes to be absorbed in the solitude and scenery of the mountains just as Nancy and I do. I wish every American could come out and see the range in the winter. There isn't a more beautiful sight in the whole world than the snowy Rockies. These Wind River Mountains are the backbone of the Continental Divide for 100 miles, with a mass of peaks just under 14,000 feet. In winter, the wildlife move down from the hills to graze in the valleys. when spring comes, we know it's time to get down to work in earnest. About this time of year, I get the feeling I've got the greatest job in the world. In summer, the trail riders show up at the Box R, and they really get down to business. These people are doctors, businessmen, salesmen, secretaries, and teachers. Packing takes time and plans. The cowhide boxes are called panniers, and we'll have about 80 on this trip. Here we are at 7,600 feet, heading into high country. No 2 days are alike in the wilderness. At this elevation, you'll find carpets of alpine wildflowers. This is Indian paintbrush, Wyoming state flower. Above timberline, snow and tundra. We are on the trail used by Fremont, crossing the pass at 11,000 feet. Everywhere there is water. I guess there must be 1,000 clear lakes here in this Bridger wilderness. This Wyoming wilderness is one of the important sources of water in the West. And almost everywhere you'll find wildlife. Here come our horses after a night out grazing. Everything moves by horse. The pack train rolls ahead with all our belongings, including our kitchen and bedrooms. We've got 64 horses and 18 mules out here right now. Of course, we do more than just riding, with fish staring us in the eye from these clear lakes and streams. Wonderful country for rainbow and cutthroat, even the California golden at higher altitude. There's a fighter bending a rod about as far as a 2-pound fish can bend it. They look pretty proud of themselves, don't they? comes my boy Irv. He did well, too. We'll be eating this catch for breakfast. Cooking is Nancy's department. It's an operation all its own on the trail.
All-day trail riding really works up an appetite, and everyone seems to enjoy the food. Even our camp doctor, though he doesn't look too happy about getting up this morning. The menu of every meal has to be planned and written down far in advance, so we can keep a balanced diet and know just how much to pack. That last horse in line is the most popular one, along about midday. He's carrying our lunch. We usually stop on the rocks or in a meadow near a stream. In the evening, we do it more formally. There's a surgeon keeping in condition with a scalpel.
We pitch camp in a valley close to water and near grass for horses. Sometimes the more hardy souls, usually the girls, go for a swim. But most of the time, the riders settle for this. There is very little artificial diversion on the trail. No radio, no electric lights, in fact, no electricity. Our trail riders may never come here again, but every one of them will understand himself and his own world better for the experience. I've made 100 pack trips or more into this country, and I feel it every time. It's good to know this portion of America will be here always, just as it is now.
Yes, Walt, it is good to know that this portion of America will be here always, just as it is now, a place to evoke spiritual values and to bring man into communion with his Creator. Thanks to men like you and the trail riders of the wilderness, we can enjoy this last frontier. This is an important part of the national forests, America's playgrounds. The United States Forest Service, through its program of multiple use, is preserving the Bridger Wilderness and other areas like it for us today and for future generations of Americans.